Hey guys, welcome back to Hairology with Kellie Carroll. And today I am going to teach you 5 short tips for short hair. So they're quick tips, but they're essential, and especially if you're going to be cutting your hair short. Tip number 1 would be, can I go shorter? It's the most question a lot of people ask their stylist. You should have pictures, inspiration ready to take to your appointment with you, and your stylist should go over them with you and decide if you are the right candidate for short hair, if your facial shape accommodates the look that you are wanting to create, first of all. Tip number 2 would be to find a stylist that's not afraid to cut short hair, one that does a great job with it. Other short-haired people that you've seen, you might have asked them. If you hear 3 times the same stylist, it's pretty much a good go. So I would trust that. Tip number 3, how much maintenance are you willing to spend? Short hair is not always the easiest to have. Just as long hair you can pull back in a ponytail, short hair you cannot. So you need to consider the maintenance that you are willing to spend and the time that you're willing to spend in a salon. It does require more maintenance trips, such as a trim every 4 to 6 weeks. Could be a little less if your hair grows super fast. Tip number 4, you want to have a reflection of you and your personality. What is your job? What is your activities? What do you like to do outside of work? How can this incorporate into your lifestyle, but yet be easy and fun and bring out the best you? Consider that, because personality is everything. And then last but not least, tip number 5 would be to add color for texture. A lot of us need that extra special texture in our hair. Maybe we need more movement. Maybe we need a little bit more personality to our hair. Your stylist can add in texturizing techniques such as notching, point cutting, color, even color in a bang area, color to accent the hair. Just really depends on the stylist and your personality. So I hope that you have learned 5 quick tips for short hair, and if you follow through with our haircut, you will see what we did on our model. So after studying our client from head to toe, we have discovered through consultation that she wants something very short up the back. She wants something that will take her back to her natural color, and she wants to have texture in her hair so that it makes it short, fun, and easy, simple for her to deal with. So we're going to begin with a clipper cut. Using the clippers, not to be scared in short hair because it does offer a lot of fun techniques and a great look. We're going to be using 3 different guards, and each guard represents a different length to be cut. For example, this is a number 1 guard, and it shows you exactly the length that will be cut. A number 3 guard, and we're going to be using a number 2. So 1, 2, 3 will be a graduated fade up the back of her hair. We have a cowlick that we're dealing with, so we need to decide which way this would lay better. And for this client, it's going to lay better the opposite way. And placing our comb at the top of the head to discover where the round, the roll, and the flat of the head is actually helps us determine where we want to start distributing the weight. Dividing this haircut into 4 equal sections will also help to keep us right on target and very precise with our partings, and this helps to determine where your weight distribution will be also, and keeps the hair out of your way, keeps your sections neat, makes everything a little more clear. A straight parting across the back will help to determine a wave pattern, which we see in this client has a slight wave pattern. Okay, so now we're going to begin the clipper cut in the nape of the neck, and we're going to round up past the occipital. We're using a number 3. Make sure your guard is clipped onto your clippers tight. Beginning at the nape, you're going to press against the head and scoop out with the clippers. You're scooping to the round of the occipital, so this is going to create a little bit of weight. In this haircut, we're not so much worried about the blending as we're going to have hair laying over top of this. But we do want to make sure that we get the nice faded area conform to her head and that it gives her the best look that it can. It's like a scoop. When you feel the roundness of the head is where you're actually going to put the clippers, and the bend of the clipper guard will help you to push off from the occipital bone. So it forms a nice soft edge. Please be sure that you get behind the ears and the neckline, because you don't want to leave any stray hairs as you're working up into your fade.
Okay, what?
Next step is our number 2, and we're going to be fading into the number 3. If you push your clippers back with a lever, it gives you a half. So basically it's like a 2.5 that you're going to fade into your 3 right there. You're not going to go as far up as the 3. You're going to skim off just a little bit. So you're actually going up probably 3/4 of the way. This gives you a very soft blend and a fade. Then you'll push that lever up to give you a full 2. So now you're going to go up a little bit higher, lower into the 2, 2.5. Keep proceeding along. Now we're switching it up. Number 1 and a half. So now the 1.5 is going to blend in to the 2. Very careful on her neckline where it takes it extremely, extremely short. A lot of times if someone has a birthmark, such as our client here has a red spot in the back, sometimes those showcase more, sometimes they don't. It just depends on the texture of the hair, if it's fine, if it's coarse. It looks really good when you're finished. Sometimes it's a shock as you're doing it, but it doesn't really matter. Now we're going to do a skin. We did 1.5, we did 1. Now we're doing, basically it's what we'd call skin fade with the blades pushed out. So it's going to give you the longest it can with the blade completely against the neck. Please watch and be careful doing this because these blades can get hot if they have been running for a while. You might have to turn your clippers off and let it cool just a bit before you start to do this. So this is going to make sure that you're getting all the little stray hairs off of the skin down towards the neckline and that you get a good soft blend. Please do not angle and make this haircut as straight along the natural hairline because it just keeps it looking a little bit more feminine if we leave the shape of the hairline. Next, we are sectioning off our halo portion that we dropped down. We are in the roll of the head. We're going to be pulling the hair straight out and angling at a 45 degree to create a soft roundness weight line. I'm pulling everything back to that section. So eventually that's going to leave it longer towards the front and shorter in the back. So again, let that puff up, pull it up, study your texture, make sure that you are creating weight as you go. And keep the client's hair moist. This is very important when you are trying to get that hair to fall in a natural falling position. Because she does have a little bit of wave and texture on her own, very slight, but she does have a little bit. So again, I am creating that 90 degree off of the head and following my guide. So it is important to remember that we have ears on the side of our head. We need to pull the hair completely behind the ear. So this is called an ear split. We bring the hair at 0 degrees behind the ear, pull that to your middle section at a 45 and establish your length. This should make you longer in the front. You take that established length and move it to the front of the ear and complete your angle.
Bye-bye.
Now I've decided, since this client has baby fine hair, that I'm going to add some texture. Fine hair with a razor can be a little scary, but I'm only using a 1/4 inch of the tip of the razor and just establishing a little bit of texture on the ends. I would never use this closer than 2 inches away from the scalp, and I would never do it extremely heavy. just a little here and there where you think that you need a little bit of fun. And then, of course, you can really have fun in the back because the fine hair and the short razor, we're going to do a razor rotation where you tip, roll your hands around at the same time you are using the tip of the razor just to catch various different strands of hair underneath to give it a nice texture that could be used with a putty to go out or for it to lay close into the head. It's such a fun technique to use, but only in certain areas of the head. Next, we're going to use some notching where we're coming from the edges of the hair out towards the ends. This gives the hair a little bit of weight, but light on the ends. And then you can go through, as in regular hair cutting sections, 90 degrees out from the head, and just add your texture. Point cut into the ends. That's another way to get texture. It really just depends on how much hair that you see that's got weight to it, how much you need to remove, because different textures work for different people and different techniques are used on different textures of hair. But again, you follow your hair cutting partings precisely to be sure that you're only texturing the areas that you want. And I do like to use this fun technique in the top of the head only, where I square off a section, twist it as tight as I possibly can, let the pressure press against me, and take the razor and shred through the top. You are only cutting a bare minimum of hair. Bare minimum. And then you don't go back, you don't blend it. It just gives you texture into the front. It allows me to be able to palm, dry, and style this head of hair without having to use a brush of any type because it roughs up the texture of the hair. Again, this isn't for everyone, but for certain types of hair, it works really well. Look how fun. She has a little bit of body, she has movement, she has a great graduation up the back, but not a blended graduation. But it is so cute, and it can lay full and under, or it could be styled nice and sassy and go out. So you really have a lot of variation with this haircut, but she has a lot of movement through the back. And by the round roll and flat of the head,